Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not, and I'm back on the Smallville Retrospective, talking about season 6, episode 7, Rage. Okay, so meant to do some episodes yesterday. Time got away from me. I came home, I took a nap, and didn't wake up till about 2:30, and then I was watching something else, and then I had to. Usually, what I do when I'm off the next day, I'll take a nap, take a shower, and then get going. Right? Well, I had to walk over to my local grocery store to get something. So, I didn't want to take a shower, then go sweat. So I had to wait. By the time I got done with that and then had supper, it was like 7:30, and I was like, ah. But I'm back here now. We're talking about this episode. It was very hard to get through. And not because of the content of this episode. It's just there was so much going on to keep rewinding. And like my friend Brandon that I work with, they got done working during the time that I'm watching this. So he's constantly messaging me. My ass is paying attention to social media. I switched to a different Blu-ray player because my friend has this one and I wanted to. Yeah, this thing's been sitting collecting dust, so I figured to give it some playtime. But this is the one where sometimes it'll pop up that I need to connect to the internet because it is. And wouldn't you know it, like I went to go talk to Brandon, and I went to pause it. As soon as I hit pause, the thing popped up to check the connection. I'm like, oh come on! And it won't let you do anything else, but you have to click it and then go back out, and it was work. The connection is fine, but. So this episode, Rage, as you can say, has something to do with anger, right? We start with the Green Arrow stopping a car robbery. Well, first of all, we start with what's supposed to be sexy times with Lois and Oliver. She goes to change into sexy clothes, and he hears a car alarm go off and decides, I'm gonna go do that. I know he's supposed to be, but with priorities, I get it. But I know he's supposed to be this hero. It's Metropolis. It's a car robbery. Car robbery, boobies. Car robbery, boobies. Sorry. I know he's supposed to be the hero, but I don't know. Maybe I'd be so conflicted. I don't know what I would do, actually. I'd be so conflicted with what I would do. But it weighs down. But he decides, no, I'm going to do it. And then during which he gets shot. And he's left for dead. And we go to credits. Only to find out later that he's perfectly fine. Like, oh, the Green Arrow, he got shot. But, a witness saw him laying there in blood. But when the cops got there, he was gone. There's the puddle of blood. I have a problem with this. So, I know that he's on this rage stuff. So, by the way, this rage, he leaves a pool of blood behind. Somebody could take a sample and go, let's test this. Oliver Queen! He's the Green Arrow. Or, that wasn't Oliver Queen. It wasn't Green Arrow. It was Oliver Queen that got shot. Even though he has no signs of... I don't know. I went, huh? Why would he leave blood sample behind? That's, And I'm surprised they don't do... And as far as I remember, they don't do anything with this. Even though there was a prominent blood storyline with Clark early on in season 3 or something with Hello Bryce. Yeah, I don't know. This is also a Thanksgiving episode. They have packed so much in this episode. Oliver's on drugs. Thanksgiving episode. And a lot of subplot. Times 2. There are 2 lot of subplots, one of which doesn't really need to exist, even though it does connect with Oliver. You don't really need her to be invested in this. Because she goes to Lex, she's like, oh, you told me to find a charitable cause, and I want to do this halfway house. Lex is like, no, it's dangerous, you can't do it. And that is Lex Luthor's final word. A little Grease 2 there for those of you who don't know. And that is Johnny Nagarelli's final word. Yeah. I love Grease 2. Shut up. Oh, got it. Grease 2. Really? Yes, really. But, he says no and then leaves. And find out later. But, like, this whole thing, because I think what they're trying to do, because she goes to Chloe to tell her about it, and then Chloe later looks it up, but not for her, for Clark. And the only connection is that when they bring it up, it's like, oh, he's connected to this halfway house, and I'm like, and she's like, oh, like her eyes are like, oh, that's Lana. I'm like, but did Lana really need to be invested in this? Because it doesn't go anywhere with her, really. Lionel shows up in person to tell Martha. I don't know how I'm the Ricola. I don't have a I don't have my medicine right now. Ooh! I don't know why I have a hard time with Martha's name, but I do. He comes in person to tell Martha that he won't be able to make Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm no billionaire, but he's in Metropolis, which means he's got to get in a plane, fly to Smallville, to go personally tell her no. When all you need to do is no. Hey, Martha, it's Lionel. I'm not going to be able to make it to Thanksgiving this year. But he flies all the way in person. The frivolous spending of money from the rich. Right? Just, yeah. I guess. It's his private jet, but still. It's still money being spent. I don't know. Remember me, I'd be like, can't come. Click. Cling. Probably get yelled at. Really? You say no in a text? Jimmy is non-existent except for in texts later, so I don't know. But yeah, so while Lana is visiting Chloe at the Daily Planet, she faints. Spoiler alert, she's pregnant. They kind of hint around it a little bit, like there's a scene she's in the hospital, I don't think they say it there. And then there's another scene where Clark shows up to talk to Lex, and she's all upset, and then later she tells Chloe she's pregnant. I made a joke. She's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, it's Whitney's. What? How is that possible? She's out there banging a corpse. Anyway, that's necrophilia, and that's bad children. Don't do that. Don't fuck dead people. Anyway, things I think of in my mind. Anyway, we find out that the reason that Clark finds out, I'm jumping around, nothing new. Clark finds out about what happened to Green Arrow, and he goes to see him, and he's fine, but he's a little more angry than usual. And he finds a needle in the garbage. And immediately he goes to Chloe, hey, I think he's using drugs. He tells Lois, but of course, Lois, as smart as she is, has to act stupid for the writing in this show to work. Every time he goes to Lois with something that is ultimately proven true, she has to dismiss it. Because it's Lois. And that's why I don't like Lois's writing in the early parts, because she has to be that dismissive person. And it's not just her, there's other characters that he has to go with. Like, Pete was one of those too, where he go talk to Pete, and Pete's like, oh, come on, Clark. He wouldn't do that. Lana was too. Whitney's not like that. He wouldn't do that. It's so the episode can progress. So he goes to Lois, and, you know, she's like, no, Oliver wouldn't do drugs, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes to his place, and to be fair, Clark did point this out earlier when he came in and his Green Arrow gear was just laying out. I could have been Lois. Your door's unlocked. You're getting lazy. You're lazy. What's the word? Cocky, like whatever. Lois comes up and she sees the Green Arrow standing there. Of course, she's all raged out. She goes to get more, and the lady says, the doctor lady he's talking to says, no, can't do any more. It's messing with people's rages, and obviously you should know that, but it messes with you. By the way, a drug that heals you, I'm assuming it gives him strength because he yeets Lois across the room and makes you rage out. Why does that sound familiar? Could it be a nod to the Mirakuru drug? Could it? Is that from the comics, or is that just for Arrow? It does feel familiar. Feels similar, I should say. But yeah. Likewise, and this doesn't. I guess she's a senator, but Martha flies all the way to Metropolis to talk to Lionel about still coming. Does nobody know how to use a phone? You gotta go all the way. I don't know. And they almost smooch. It's like, oh no. But ultimately, there's another scene later. Ultimately, it's like, we may have feelings for us, but I'm not sure I want to know right now, blah, 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 but you still should come to Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Lex goes to talk to the doctor lady. And again, I'm jumping around, because it jumps around itself. Lois gets knocked down her ass. She goes in there, she fronts the Green Arrow with the dumbbell. The irony there. And she gets flung across the room, and she's bleeding. She calls 911. Kids today won't know what this is like this. This is a phone, children. No, that's your fingers. No, that's a phone. I think my son even knows what it is. Like, hello, hey. 911. I need an ambulance. Ambulance. Whoa, Black Betty. Ambulance. Whoa, Black Betty. Ambulance. I need an ambulance. And I need an ambulance. And yeah. But then it goes to Lana at the hospital with the doctor. Then to Lex talking to the doctor at the research facility. Then to Lois. Shouldn't we have gone to Lois first? Like, people are like, oh my gosh, you said what's going to happen. Oh, Lana. Okay. Well, now we're going to... No, Lex. Okay. Oh, okay. Now Lois. If you don't care, why should we? It just feels weird. Usually, when the commercial cut happens, that happens, and you come back to commercial, you continue from that point, right? Like, how many times have we seen someone get hurt, commercial, and then come back and you go right to the hospital? Why are there 2 other scenes in between this? Because there's 3 different kind of stories here, 4 technically. Because you got what's going on with Lex, what's going on with Lana, what's going on with Oliver, and what's going on with Clark. And they're trying to just throw everything in there. And I don't think you needed those, like, you still could have done it. Right? And by the way, is this all in the same day? Because if Lana's at the hospital at the same time Lois is, and Clark is there, wouldn't you have seen her? There's no scene of her coming out and looking, I don't know. I do want to point out that when he goes to the Daily Planet to see him, Lana is there and he's like, Lana. Not his, Lana. No, it's a Lana. Like, it's no longer, happy to see her in a way. Point that out. But, so Lex, like I said, Lex goes to see the doctor who is destroying all the serums. And he's like, you can't do that. We never find out what it is for, although I feel it has something to play with storylines that happen after Michael Rosenbaum leaves the show. But we never know. And she's like, I need to destroy everything. And he's like, I can't let you do that. Then the next time we see the facility, everyone there is dead, and there's an arrow in the wall. And I'm like, wow, Lex has really become a villain now. But then later they say it was someone from the halfway house that did it. And Clark insinuates, well, maybe Lex had something to do with it. Obviously, like it's because they don't want to go straight into Lex being a villain. They're like, oh, this really implies that Lex set it up, so let's it's just some guy from the halfway house did it. He wanted more, which is understandable, and maybe he'd blame the Green Arrow for it. I mean, Oliver does admit he was there, but not to shooting the arrow. He said he went there and they were already dead. So he goes to Lex. And I was confused at first because I was like, wait, how did he get to Lex? But then he's like, I went there and I found them dead. And you did it. And okay. We get this stare off with Lex with a gun and Oliver with the crossbow. And which one's faster? According to this episode of this show, a crossbow and an arrow from a crossbow and a bullet can travel at the same speed and hit the other person at the same time. Bullets are faster. Sorry to say. See, the arrow thing, it has the thing that pulls it back and does it. It's a trigger mechanism, sure. But bullet has gunpowder in the bullet plus a propellation thing in the gun that pushes it out faster. The gun is faster. They wouldn't have hit each other at the same time. If Oliver would do it, it hit him, and the arrow would fly out and hit the ceiling or something. And Lex would be standing over and going, I told you not to mess with me. Or something like that to that effect. But no, this episode needs to say they were just as fast. So, yeah. Clark shows up. Clark goes to find, I just mentioned that. He goes to find Lex and finds Lana. I don't know why this scene needed to be in there. We see that he's trouble. There's something, sure. But, yeah. Clark shows up and immediately goes, Oliver! Say it louder. They couldn't hear you in fucking China. Why do they insist on yelling out the names of people? Oliver! Really? 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 You're lucky Lex is already dead, because at this point he would have heard it. Really, he runs in the door. Oliver! What if there was cameras? Which there probably was, but it's never brought up. And Oliver's already injected himself with the stuff, and he's looking like a druggie, like a junkie. And there's conveniently more stuff right there because Lex is taking it, of course. Which, by the way, did Lex take all the stuff and then the guy from the halfway house come in? Because Lex having all the drugs implies he did it. But then he injects Lex and he's like, he's dead. You killed him. But then he's fine. He comes back. And based on what we've already seen from the show, he should have still been fine. Like, because they said that his heightened white blood cell count have given him like a way to survive things. I know it's an arrow to the heart, but they could have done something else with it. So then we have to inject him because that's the thing, I guess. And he's fine. And yeah. And then we get a scene where he's talking to Oliver. He's like, hey, come to Thanksgiving. Because, in case you forgot, this was a Thanksgiving episode. Because they mentioned it twice before this and never again for the rest of the episode. And then, because Clark was all like, oh, I don't know if I want to celebrate Thanksgiving because Dad's gone and blah, 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 you know. But she basically convinced him to do. And he doesn't have a problem with Lionel being there. I thought there was going to be more of that. Like, he shows up and no. He convinces Oliver to go with. I do like how he's there, and at one point earlier, Lois is like, after he ditches her, and he's like, well, you know what? I'm done with him, you know. But like, I guess I get it, you know. You know, he's running off. It can. piss people off. But give me a minute. So, doorbell rings, and the party's here. Picking up the stereo. No, the doorbell rings, and he's like, "Oh, Dolores." He's like, "That's for you." And then we stay with them, and she goes to the other room. I'm like, why aren't we following her? There's some weird editing choices in this episode, to say for sure. Because then Coy's like, Jimmy is at his parents' house. He sends his love. Like, okay, that explains why he's not there. But they couldn't get an Ashmore for that episode, apparently. And then one is there. And then we cut. Like, oh, hey, is Lana okay? She seemed a little upset. No, she's fine. I just some part before this is when she confides to Chloe she's pregnant, I guess. But then we get to the door. And it's like, hey, he brought flowers. And everything is fine. Like, he's like, I'm done with that. I'm done. All junkies say that, but this is a TV show. We need to end it in about 10 minutes or so. So, maybe 5 minutes or so. She's like, oh, if I hug you, there's not going to be poked by a needle, is there? I know it's a joke. She hugs him and I go, ow! Needle? No. And he kisses her on the back of the head. Why not smooch on the lips? Why not? This is them getting back together. Why did you just go on the top of the head? I don't know. And then they get to the table, and Clark says, we have a tradition in our family, started since before I was born. Since before I was found. Everyone knows he's adopted. Except for me, Oliver. I don't know if they talk about that. We go around the table, we tell what we're thankful for. And I'm thankful for my mom and dad for always being there for me and, that stuff. And then no one else does it. It just starts as he starts to carve the turkey and everyone's there. And you get this weird thing because someone else said to them, hey, act like you guys are talking about something and having fun and laughing. Because you get this weird thing where they're talking. And Oliver goes, it's like someone obviously just told them to mind that they're having fun. It's just this, one of those things. I don't know. And then to contrast this, we cut to Wayne Manor. Well, not really. It's Lex's mansion, but it's basically the table from Batman '89. How's the soup? What? How's the soup? It's good. Do you eat in here often? Huh? You eat in here often? You know, I don't think I've ever eaten in here before. It's basically, it shows them talking, and then there's a big wide shot of Lex on one side of the table and Lonnie. Why would you sit like that? Is this supposed to tell you how cold Lex is? Because this is your girlfriend. Shouldn't you sit next? I never got that too at restaurants. You go to a restaurant, you sit at the booth, you sit across from each other. It's like, why wouldn't you sit next to your girlfriend or your spouse or something? I guess I'm just used to going to places as a family where the mom and dad sit at one side, and then you and your sibling, or in this case, my son, sit on the other side. I don't know, but that's where the episode ends. This actually took longer to talk about than before. It took a long time to watch it because of interferences, but I'll give it a 3 out of 5 Superman logos out of 5. It was fine. It is establishing. It's weird. Maybe 2.5. Was it 2.5? It was. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know. It was filler, to be sure, but the next one, the next one we're going to talk about, it's a Zoner episode. So, with that. So, what are your thoughts on this episode? Leave a comment, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.